This video is sponsored by strawberry.me. Today I want to show you one simple exercise that will have you soloing all over the fretboard in minutes. And if you want all of the fretboard diagrams from today's lesson in a printable PDF booklet, as well as additional weekly videos, consider joining the Patreon. You'll find links to that down in the description. All right, so let's get right into it. The basic idea of this exercise is to follow the chord changes while we solo by landing on chord tones within the scale. You might have done something like this before, but we're gonna add a little twist. Instead of finding the chord tones within one scale shape or position, we're going to limit ourselves to just one string, which will force us into moving around the fretboard with some purpose. So let's break it all down. We're going to use a very basic backing track with minimal chord changes as we learn this exercise, but once you get the hang of it, you can go ahead and do it with any track you want. Oh, and you can download the track for free by clicking on the free backing track pack linked in the description. This track in particular is called Gravitational for reasons that will be very obvious in a minute here. So let's start by listening to the track and looking at the chords. So we've got a nice slow chord progression just cycling between two chords. We've got G major and then we've got C major. So right now we're on the C major. And then it goes back to G major. And it just does this over and over, then back to C major. That's it. Next, we need to know which notes are in these two chords so that we can find our chord tones. So our G major chord has a G for the root note, a B for the major third, and a D for the fifth. Our C major chord has a C for the root, E for the major third, and a G for the fifth. We'll start by focusing on the root notes, so G for the G major and C for the C major. What we'll do next is pick which string we're going to limit ourselves to. So I'm going to start with the B string. So that means we need to locate a G note and a C note on the B string. Our G note is right here on the 8th fret, and our C note is up here on the 13th fret. So let's just do a quick test over the track to make sure it's right. Nice, okay, it all sounds good. So our next step is to fill the space between the chord tones with other notes from the scale. And to do this, we'll just play the scale that matches the key of the song in the position of each note. So this song is in the key of G major. That means that you can play either a G major scale or a G major pentatonic scale. I prefer to use the full major scale since the pentatonic skips over important chord tones within each key. So when we're playing the G note here on the B string, we need to pick a position that includes this note. So I'm going to go with position 4, or if you're used to caged positions, it would be the C position. Then we do the same thing for our C note, which is right up here, and it sits nicely inside our position 1 or our G position shape. Okay, we're ready to start playing. But first, this video is sponsored by strawberry.me, a platform that matches you with your very own certified career coach. As a full-time YouTuber and educator, I'm constantly setting my own deadlines, juggling creative burnout, and second-guessing what the next right move should be. That's where personal coaching really helped. I got matched with Jordan, and the whole process was simple, super approachable, and honestly kind of empowering. He didn't tell me what to do. It was more like he asked me the right questions that helped me figure out how to stay focused, stay healthy, and keep growing without burning out. If you've ever felt stuck in a rut or unsure about your next steps, especially in your career, I'd highly recommend checking it out. Coaching isn't therapy. It's really about coming up with clear goals, smart strategies, and staying accountable. So if you want to try it out for yourself, visit strawberry.me/Andrew Clarke to take a short quiz and get matched with your own certified coach. The most important project you'll ever work on is you, and you'll never regret investing in yourself. All right, big thanks to strawberry.me for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the lesson. All right, we're all set up for the exercise, and for our first playthrough, we're gonna break it up into 2 stages. So stage 1, we're just gonna play the root notes, and then stage 2, when we're ready, we'll fill that space in between with other notes as well. Let's give it a go. And all we're gonna do is fill a little bit of that space. It can be super simple, 1 note, 2 notes, whatever you want. Or if you're a little more advanced, you can do a little bit more, whatever you know. It's just about moving back and forth. So let's do this all again, but use a different string. So we'll stick to the root notes for now, but let's do the G string. So we need a G note and a C note on the G string. Our G note is right up here. And our C note is actually all the way down here. So for our G note, we're right in that position 1, the one we're comfortable with. Right there. And then for our C note, we're actually going to have to use position 3 here. So that one looks like this. Reminder, as I mentioned at the top of the video, you can get all of the fretboard diagrams in one nice printable booklet over on my Patreon. So let's pull our track back up and give it a go based on the new string. So we'll start off by just playing the root notes just to get a feel for the positions here. And then once you get comfortable, you can start adding a few notes. If you're more advanced, you can do more than that. Okay, let's get into the more interesting stuff because we have more chord tones than just the root notes. We also have the thirds and the fifths. As a reminder, a G major chord contains a G, a B, the third, and a D, which is the fifth. And a C major chord contains a C, an E, which is the third, and then a G for the fifth. So let's do this same exercise and use the thirds instead. We'll also go to the A string this time. So the third of a G major chord is a B, which is all the way up here, and that puts us in position 1. So we know that one pretty well. And then the third of a C major chord is an E, which is down here, and that's gonna put us right on top of position 4. Let's pull up the track again and try it out. So again, we'll start with just the chord tones here. You can tell that the thirds sound quite different, right? They have a different quality to them over the chords, but they sound really neat. And then when you feel like you're ready, you can start adding a few notes in between. So your next steps here would be to really exhaust this one track. Find all the chord tones across all the strings and even try mixing it up by rotating through the different chord tones within a single playthrough. Then once you've mastered that, you can move on to other tracks with faster moving chord progressions. I suggest the other 2 tracks included in the free track pack you already downloaded. And you'd approach them the exact same way. You'd figure out the key and the chords, then start with the root notes on whichever string you choose. Map out the scale positions you'll use, cues and go for it. This exercise really is a great way to force you to move from position to position while improvising. And if you find that your movement between the positions isn't that smooth, you'll want to check out this lesson on the XY method next. Big thanks again to strawberry.me for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.